Hey everybody, Glenn here from PlayStation Nation, and tell you what, I got a really cool opportunity to fly out to San Francisco to check out the new content for the Division 2, and thanks so much to Ubisoft for flying me out and allowing me to play this new content. So I've got an interview with one of the producers of the game, and he goes into detail a lot more than I do, so I'm not going to bore you with some of that stuff. Also, I don't like videos, gameplay videos that people talk over the entire time, so I'm not going to do that very much. The interview is only about 10 minutes, but he really has some great information. I will say I had a great time playing this. I don't play the Division 2 quite a lot anymore just because I've had to move on to other stuff for reviews, and also our community's moved on to some other stuff as well, but there are still a core group of people playing this game, and I've always really enjoyed this, even over the first one, because of a lot of the changes and improvements that they've made. What you're going to see here, though, is some of the new content, and as you see, you're going back to New York, which is a lot of fun for me. I actually like the kind of the canyons that you're in the city itself, unlike the open areas in Washington, D.C. So all the release date information, how to get this content, etc., is in the interview. So I'm not going to bore you with my annoying voice. And also, I'm playing this with an Xbox One controller because of my limited left hand, so I can't really do keyboard and mouse anymore. So hopefully I'm not too bad at the game, and leave a comment if I stink at the game. I'm sure you'll know how to do that. But check this out. Thanks so much to Ubisoft for the opportunity, and thanks so much for everyone to take the time out to let me get some hands-on with this and really dig into it. So I'll be talking more about this on the podcast as well, and maybe we'll even see if we can do something post-release. And I would love to get the community back together to play this. Join our Discord server, and we have a Division 2 channel on there. And if y'all want to play with me or play with everybody else, you're more than welcome. Thanks very much.
I've been undermining Kinger's operation for months.
So all the secretive stuff that you might have seen me traveling to San Francisco and such is because of something really cool. I got to check out some new content for the Division 2 called Warlords of New York, which is pretty fun. We just got to play through a decent little chunk of the new missions, and let's just talk about it. So please introduce yourself and what you do.
Hi, my name is Nick Skur, and I'm a producer at Ubisoft Leamington and Ubisoft Reflections, and we've been working on Division 2 Warlords of New York.
And that's the whole thing. We're back in New York, which is a pretty great surprise. The Division 2's always been in Washington, D.C., and now we're going back to New York City, and it's very exciting stuff because it's a totally different type of atmosphere now. You're back kind of in the canyons of New York City instead of kind of the wide open areas in Washington, D.C.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's been 8 months since the initial Dollar Flea poison outbreak that really kick-started the Division story. And if you cast your mind back to the Division, there were quite a few story threads that have been left dangling and were maybe teased throughout Division 2. One of those being one of the first wave agents, Aaron Keener, who ended up going rogue and actually turning against the Division.
Spoilers. Just kidding.
Oh, well, yeah, if you haven't played Division 1, apologies. But he's resurfaced, and he's brought with him a network of rogue agents that are helping him out, and they've really taken advantage of some of the factions that were left behind in the Division and have allied themselves with those. And really, the players coming back to where it all started, coming back home to kind of clean up this mess and find Aaron Keener and stop him.
Right. Now, of course, I should have taken notes, but I was paying really close attention in the presentation this morning. So can we go over some of the bullet points that you guys went over with us this morning in terms of the RPG-ness of it and how things have changed with the RPG elements?
Yeah, so we're really proud of Division 2. We've been out nearly a whole year now, and we've been constantly updating the game. And as we've been doing that, we've been listening to player feedback, through streams and Twitch and Reddit and so on. And one of the common feedback points was that the gear game could be quite complex, or you'd end up keeping a lot of gear and not knowing, should I keep that? Is this worth something to me? And so,
I agree, by the way.
Yeah, so And we agree, you know, we want players to be able to tell us straight away that, yes, I need this thing, this is going to change how I play the game. So we've focused on streamlining the system and making it really apparent to players if a gear piece is meaningful for them or they have attributes. So underneath, we still have that same complexity. But for the player, they're going to be able to see very quickly, yes, this is exciting to me, I need this for my build.
Right, and that was pretty apparent even when we were playing kind of this demo build that we were playing. When you know that this isn't your actual character, you don't pay attention as much to a lot of the stuff you're looting. Oh, there's a backpack, I'll try it up, and then you're like, why am I doing this? It doesn't really matter for my character. But it's still cool, and talk a little bit about, I guess, where the story is now going, if we can.
Yeah, so 8 months since the poison outbreak, and the story is set a month after the events of the Division 2. You receive a distress call from New York City, and agents are being called back there. Aaron Keener launches an attack on Division agents, and from that, the manhunt to find him begins. We're allowing players in this new map, which is 4 name zones in South Manhattan, a brand new area of New York that we haven't been to before, to play the campaign the way they see fit. So we have 4 rogue agent lieutenants we need to hunt down, and Aaron Keener himself, spread over 5 main missions and 8 side missions. But there's no level gating within the map. Players are free to explore and to take down any of those agents in any order they see fit.
Nice. And I don't know if we've talked about this or if it's even public knowledge or not, but is this going to be paid content, or is this content that's just coming with the game as an update?
Yeah, so this is a paid expansion for Division 2, but some of the great updates that we've been working on, like the RPG mechanic overhaul, that's going to be available for all of our players. So if you don't choose to join in at this point, you're still going to get all those quality of life improvements. And if you're a player that hasn't even joined us on the Division 2 before, or hasn't even played the Division, it's a great time to join the game now. If you want to, you can, for the time being, skip the Division 2 campaign and create a level 30 character direct in Manhattan,
which
and play
is
that
awesome.
campaign first.
Yeah, that was a big announcement that you'd be able to do that, because we see that all the time nowadays when we want to play Division 2 with the community, and some people are like, I'm so far behind, or I haven't even started the game. I'm behind all of you, and I don't really want to go through that grind. And being able to actually create a new character and be up to that level right away is huge in my opinion.
Yeah, at any point. And then when you've done that and you've reached level 40 and got into an infinite progression system, then you can go back to Washington, D.C. and all that amazing content still there for you to play at that point.
Nice. Talk a little bit about the changes to the Dark Zone? Is it?
The Dark Zone, yeah. So we really wanted to get back to where the Dark Zone was in Division. Fans really loved it, and we're really proud of what we did in Division 2, but again, there were some complexities there that we wanted to take out, and we wanted to simplify that game loop and bring the Dark Zone back to what it really should be, which is player-to-player or agent-to-agent interaction. And when you go in there, it should be a simple gameplay loop, but having lots of things happening within the world that will throw you off. So we're really focusing on players engaging other players, but also those that want to help their fellow agents. We're going to reward that as well. So if you find a random agent in the Dark Zone and you help them, we're going to reward you for that behavior. And then the last thing really is we're adding a lot of gear and loot to the game with this expansion. So there are going to be exclusive items that you can only get from the Dark Zone, and all of the gear in the Dark Zone from this update onwards is going to be contaminated, so you'll have to actually extract it by a helicopter and run the risk of falling afoul of some rogue agents in there.
Nice. And one other thing that we saw in the gameplay today, and that you should be seeing on our YouTube channel, the new weather stuff that comes through, and I mean, there was one point in the match or in the mission I was doing where I think a hurricane hit or something, and you couldn't see anything. Like there was all this rain, and it was almost like a fog effect. Is that going to happen like throughout the missions, or is it something that's only for a couple of different ones? Yeah,
so before the player arrives in New York, before the campaign of Warlords of New York takes place, the city itself has actually already been hit by a hurricane. It's swept in. The area that you're playing in is a former Dark Zone and wouldn't have been accessible to players before this. But yeah, we've always strived to have various weather effects and storms kicking off. So you'll see that not just in missions, but as you're playing throughout the open world itself.
Yeah, I always like when the rainstorms just kind of hit because the effect that you guys have used is really good.
Yeah, the lighting looks incredible, and all the reflections on the puddles.
I actually had a lightning hit during this match or during this session that kind of threw me back a little bit. I was surprised, like, what happened? What happened? I thought somebody hit me with a spotlight or something.
Yeah.
So, and you mentioned it before, but are we going to be touching on any of the areas from the first division in this this new New York content for Division 2, or is it going to be all new areas?
No, for this expansion, it's a brand new area, nothing that players will have seen before. And
Okay.
it has its own iconic landmarks there, such as Wall Street and the two bridges, and you might even be able to see the Statue of Liberty from the shoreline as well.
Nice. Okay. And do we have a release date for this yet, or is it just sometime soon?
Yeah, so the expansion releases on the 3rd of March for PS4, Xbox One, and PC, and then we'll be coming to Google Stadia later on in the year.
That's huge. That's huge. I've always said I really do think that Ubisoft is one of the best publishers for Stadia right now. Like, they seem to be the only publisher that cares anything about what they can get out of the additional horsepower in Stadia.
We're really looking forward to bringing the Division 2 experience to Stadia, and it's going to be, you know, the same game that we have on the other platforms. So you're going to be able to get Division 2 and the Warlords of New York expansion as well.
That's very cool. Anything that I didn't bring up that you want to touch on?
No, I'm just really looking forward to agents new and old joining us in the hunt for Aaron Keener, and I'll see them in New York City on 3rd of March.
Awesome. Folks, if you have any questions, throw them on our forums, throw them on the comments in the video, and we can direct those to Ubisoft if we need to. Thanks for your time, though.
Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure.
Hey, Agent. There's something you need to know. I've been digging through some classified Division records, and there's evidence of institutional corruption that goes all the way to the top. You really think the Division is insulated from Washington and its political bullshit? We should be working together.
Portable device detected. Electronic device detected.
Parnell's signal's getting stronger. Looks like he's in the security room at the top of the building. This must be where he keeps his research. Try to access it.
Bypassing security protocols.
All right, Rhodes. Show us what you got.
I'm on it, Kelso. Should have this nut cracked in no time, thanks to Isaac. You really don't deserve this kind of power. You really don't.
Who else is gonna make us look weak?
Judge? Please tell me you left your radio on.
I'm here. You still got this under control, right?
Of course. I'm on my way to you now. The division won't be far behind. Get ready.
He's running scared.
Portable device detected. Vital signs critical. Agent out of action.